Hello guys. Welcome back again to Vance Empire TV. As I promised from the previous video, leo we are tackling chapter 5. Chapter 5 is all about land and environment. So this one under land and environment we have two parts. Kuna part mbili, yeah? Kuna part 1 which talks about land. Yeah. Part 2 talks about environment and natural resources. This one, because the two parts are they are too short, they are short, so I'll combine both of them and we finish this chapter. We go to chapter 6. Okay guys, straight into it. Wacha leo tujifunze mambo ya mashamba, land, ardhi na mambo ya environment, mazingira. So let's see katiba inasemaje kuhusu land, kuhusu ardhi. So this is how it says about land. Okay, we have principles of land and policy. Land in Kenya shall be held, used, and managed in a manner that is equitable, efficient, productive, and sustainable, and in accordance with the following principles: equitable access to land, security of land rights, sustainable and productive management of land resources, transparent and cost-effective administration of land, sound conservation and protection of ecological sensitive areas, elimination of gender discrimination in law, customs and practices related to land and property in land, and encouragement of communities to settle land disputes through recognized local community initiatives consistent with this constitution. This principle shall be implemented through a national land policy developed and reviewed regularly by the national government and through legislation. Then we go to the next point that talks of classification of land. All land in Kenya belongs to the people of Kenya, protectively as a nation, as communities, and as individuals. Land in Kenya is classified as public land or community or even private land. So let's see public land. Public land, this is land which at the effective date was unalienated government land as defined by an act of parliament in force at the effective date. A land lawfully held, used or occupied by any state organ except any such land that is occupied by the state organ as lessee under a private lease. Land transferred to the state by way of sale, reversion, or surrender. Land in respect of which no individual or community ownership can be established by any legal process. Land in respect of which no heir guys ni mrithi, heir can be identified by any legal process. Still talking of public land. All minerals and mineral oils as defined by law. Government forests other than forests to which Article 63, Sub-Article 2D I applies. Government game reserves, water catchment areas, national parks, government animal sanctuaries, and especially protected areas. All roads and thoroughfares provided for by an act of parliament. All rivers, lakes, and other water bodies as defined by an act of parliament. The territorial sea, the exclusive economic zone, and the seabed. The continental shelf. All land between the high and low water marks. Any land not classified as private or community land under this constitution, and any other land declared to be public land by an act of parliament, in force at the effective date or enacted after the effective date. Public land shall vest in and be held by a county government in trust for the people resident in the county and shall be administered on their behalf by National Land Commission if it is classified under clause 1 A, C, D, or E, and clause 1B, other than land held, used, or occupied by a national state organ. Public land classified under clause 1F to M shall vest in and be held by the national government in trust for the people of Kenya and shall be administered on their behalf by the National Land Commission. Public land shall not be disposed of or otherwise used except in terms of an Act of Parliament specifying the nature and terms of that disposable or use or disposable and terms of that disposal or use. Okay, so let's go to community land. Community land shall vest in and be held by communities identified on the basis of ethnicity, culture, or similar community of interest. Community land consists of land lawfully registered in the name of group representatives under the provision of any law. Land lawfully transferred to a specific community by any process of law. Any other land declared to be community land by an act of parliament, and land that is lawfully held, managed, or used by specific communities as community forests, grazing areas, or shrines. And central lands and lands traditionally occupied by hunter-gatherer communities or lawfully held as trust land by the county governments, but not including any public land held in trust by the county government under Article 62, Sub-Article 2. Any unregistered community land shall be held in trust by county governments on behalf of the communities for which it is held. Community land shall not be disposed of or otherwise used except in terms of legislation specifying the nature and extent of the rights of members of each community individually and collectively. Parliament shall enact legislation to give effect to this article. Private land. Let's see, under private land. Private land consists of a registered land held by any person under any freehold tenure. Land held by any person under leasehold tenure, and any other land declared private land under an act of parliament. So there is also another a group of landowners. This is called land holding by non-citizens. Okay, so even non-citizens can own land here in Kenya. So let's see the law, how it says about that. A person who is not a citizen may hold land on the basis of leasehold tenure. So you can just depend na ile primary usoma is tenure ama tenure. Okay. And tenure only, and any such lease, however, granted shall not exceed 99 years. Okay, so non-citizens wanaweza own land hapa Kenya by the way of lease, yeah. Lease wanaikomboa tu for a maximum of 99 years, not exceeding 99 years. So up to 99 years and on land, then from there he or she releases the land back to the government, so it becomes public land. Okay, let's see the other point. If a provision of any agreement, deed, conveyance, or document of whatever nature purports to confer on a person who is not a citizen an interest in land greater than a 99-year lease, the provision shall be regarded as conferring on the person a person a 99-year leasehold interest and no more. For purpose of this article, a body corporate shall be regarded as a citizen only if the body corporate is wholly owned by one or more citizens, and property held in trust shall be regarded as being held by a citizen only if all of the beneficial interest of the trust is held by persons who are citizens. Parliament may enact legislation to make further provision for the operation of this article. Let's see, regulation, this is another point, regulation of land use and property. Regulation of land use and property. The state may regulate the use of any land or any interest in or right over any land in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, public health, or land use planning. Parliament shall enact legislation ensuring that investment in property benefit local communities and their economies. Let's see the other point about land. This is another article. This talks of National Land Commission. This is NLC. This is the commission that regulates land in Kenya. National Land Commission, NLC, that is established the National Land Commission. The function of the National Land Commission are to manage public land on behalf of the national and county governments, to recommend a national land policy to the national government, to advise the national government on a comprehensive program for the registration of title in land throughout Kenya, to conduct research related to land and the use of natural resources, and make recommendations to appropriate authorities, to initiate investigations on its own initiative or on a complaint into present or historical land injustices, and recommend appropriate redress, to encourage the application of traditional dispute resolution mechanisms in land conflicts, to assess tax on land and premiums on immovable property in any area designated by law, and to monitor and have oversight responsibilities over land use planning throughout the country. The National Land Commission may perform any other functions prescribed by national legislation. Legislation on land. Let's see how legislation on land works. Okay. Parliament shall revise, consolidate, and rationalize existing land laws, revise sectoral land use laws in accordance with the principles set out in Article 60, Sub-Article 1, and enact legislation to prescribe minimum and maximum land holdings acreages in respect of private land, to regulate the manner in which any land may be converted from one category to another, to regulate the recognition and protection of matrimonial property, and in particular the matrimonial home during and on the termination of marriage, to protect, conserve, and provide access to all public land, to enable the review of all grants or disposition of public land, to establish their appropriate or legality, to protect the independence of deceased persons holding interest in any land, including the interests of spouses in actual occupation of land, and to provide for any other matter necessary to give effect to the provisions of this chapter. We are done with part 1 under land and environment. So part 2 is environment and natural resources. So let's see under environment and natural resources what the law talks about that one. Obligations in respect of the environment. The state shall ensure sustainable exploitation, utilization, management, and conservation of the environment and natural resources, and ensure the equitable sharing of the growing benefits. Work to achieve and maintain a tree cover of at least 10% of the land area of Kenya. Yeah? So you can imagine, hii point imenibamba sana. This point is very important. And all the trees that you see around Kenya, deforestation that is going on, bado hatujafikia 10%. Yeah? To work and achieve, to maintain a tree cover of at least 10% of the land area of Kenya. Yeah? All those trees mnaona nini zile zimepandwa along the roads, forest, kakina Karura, yeah? Arboretum, all those. Ngong forest, but we are not to that bank of 10%. So you can imagine by the time we will be 10% tree cover or vegetation cover, how the country will be a beautiful area, beautiful scenery to see. So let's see the other point, the next point. This is protect and enhance intellectual property in and indigenous knowledge of biodiversity and the genetic resources of the communities. Encourage public participation in the management, protection and conservation of the environment. Protect genetic resources and biological diversity. Establish systems of environmental impact assessment, environmentally audit and monitoring of the environment. Eliminate processes and activities that are likely to endanger the environment and utilize the environment and natural resources for the benefit of the people of Kenya. Every person has a duty to cooperate with state organs and other persons to protect and conserve the environment and ensure ecologically sustainable development and use of natural resources. To the point of enforcement of environment rights. Yeah. If a person alleges that a right to a clean and healthy environment recognized and protected under Article 42 has is being or is likely to be denied, violated, infringed, or threatened, the person may apply to a court for redress, in addition to any other legal remedies that are available in respect to the same matter. On application under Clause 1, the court may make any order or give any directions it considers appropriate. To prevent, stop, or discontinue any act or omission that is harmful to the environment, to compel any public officer to take measures to prevent or discontinue any act or omission that is harmful to the environment, or to provide compensation for any victim of a violation of the right to a clean and healthy environment. For the purpose of this article, an applicant does not have to demonstrate that any person has incurred loss or suffered injury. And the other point, the other article talks of agreements relating to natural resources. A transaction is subject to ratification by Parliament if it involves the grant of a right or concession by or on behalf of any person, including the national government, to another person for the exploitation of any natural resource of Kenya, and is entered into on or after the effective date. Parliament shall enact legislation providing for the classes of transactions subject to ratification under Clause 1, And then we have the last article in this part that talks of legislation relating to the environment. Parliament shall enact legislation to give full effect to the provision of these parts. So that comes with the end of this chapter. This was chapter 5 that talks of land and environment. So the most important thing you are supposed to know is land is divided into some categories. So we've seen public land. So you must know that there's public land. So you've all heard of that. There's public land. There's what we call community land. Inaoniwa na vikundi. Wananunua kama ushaisikia something called a ranch. So this is what we call community land. And then there is what we call private land. Yes, private land. And then land holding by non-citizens. So even non-citizens can hold land, can own land, but in their case, it's a lease of up to 99 years, not more than 99 years. So as is it about chapter 5 that talks of land and environment, guys. We are moving on well, tunaendelea vizuri sana, tunaendelea vizuri na kuchambua katiba yetu ya Kenya. As I told you, my main issue here, my main important reason of me kuchambua katiba ni sisi kama wananchi wa Kenya tuweze kuelewa katiba yetu inasema nini. Tusikuwe tu tunawachia lawyers and judges. Wewe kama mwananchi unafaa uelewe katiba. One or two things hapa na pale. Ukisikia lawyer amesema kitu bungeni or judge amerule according to Bill of Rights, sub article 2, something like that. So at least you have that understanding. So ni kama unasikia tu ni kama ni wimbo tu inapigiwa mbuzi, gitaa inapigiwa mbuzi. So you also understand some of this law, what they talk about. So next we'll be talking of chapter 6. Guys, hii pia nyingine mzuri sana. This chapter 6 talks of leadership and integrity. Sasa hapa ndio viongozi, what all the elected leaders hapa ndio wanafall. Leadership and integrity. Hapa ndio all the leaders fall, all the elected leaders from the MCA all the way to the president. This one is an important one, guys. I'll tackle this next. My next episode itakuwa on leadership and integrity. So I thank you guys for your support. I will only remind you of one thing. Remember to subscribe as you watch. Remember to subscribe. Those who are not subscribe guys. Kuza tu kidude hapo chini as you watch. Tell a friend to tell a friend that there is a channel called Vance Empire TV. And my name is Governor. Thank you all and continue enjoying as you continue enjoying your festivities.